Welcome to Aiken Business Matters. I'm your host, John McMichael, and I have with me today a pretty new friend. We've known each other for several years, but he's got a story that I wanted to share with you, and it's a pretty amazing one. His name is Jonathan Larry. He's like me. He's got two first names in there. But Jonathan, welcome to the show today.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah. Jonathan, tell people a little bit about yourself. What do you do?
I currently work at the Economic Development Partnership, and we serve Aiken, Edgefield, and Saluda counties. And what we do is market the region to attract new investment and jobs into the community. And my job there is to be Senior Marketing and Research Director. So I really help out with the advertising along with helping out with projects and doing a lot of the research about demographics and population data. That's my job there.
Yeah, and you certainly helped me out in that area many times. So.
Yeah.
Jonathan, I met you when you were an intern, and you were just now coming on board with Economic Development Partners, right. And that was what year?
It had to be 2013 or 2014.
Yeah, it was 2013.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that. I came into the office and nobody was in there but you, and we had a chance to get to know each other, and then we kept bumping into each other all around town. So it's certainly been a pleasure getting to know you more and more, and I wanted our viewers to get a chance to learn a little something about you, because you've got several unique things that are going on in your life, and I think it's always great to share things so that people can not only learn from what they hear, but be encouraged and maybe drop a seed in somebody's mind that, if they have an idea, a thought, or something, that they can work on it, fertilize it, water it, and nurture it. And if they put the right kind of time and effort into it, that it'll grow and blossom and to fruition. So I hope that when we complete today that they'll feel that way, because I certainly do. Jonathan, where are you from originally?
I grew up in North Augusta. North Augusta High School graduate, and then I went to USC Aiken. Yeah.
How about that? And I went to USC Aiken too. When I went there, you only could get 2 years out of it, so we went to Columbia to finish up. But USC Aiken has really changed an awful lot. It has an awful lot of national recognition. They're number 1 and number 5 in so many different categories.
Right.
And Dr. Jordan has done a great job in continuing to do the work that Dr. Hallman did when he was there. So we're very fortunate to have that continuation of a great academic education offered here in Aiken.
Yeah, and I majored in business while I was there. And the School of Business on campus, I loved it. The professors were great, the classes were great, and I learned a lot. And really what I learned in the classes, I could apply to the real world as well.
Right.
So that was great.
You know Professor Hoover over there?
I'm not. No, I
don't.
Yeah,
he's one of the newer professors over there.
Okay.
Great guy, and he teaches a senior level class, and he invites folks from around the community and the business world to come in and teach during the year. And I was able to do it last year, and he invited me back again this year. So I guess we did what he needed us to do in there, but. I agree with you. The more people that I've met in the business school at the university, I'm very impressed. They've got some wonderful folks over there. And one of my old professors is still over there teaching. I say old, one of my professors is still there teaching. Professor Rudnick, Irene Rudnick, she teaches business law over there. And I remember this day that she was always a great instructor, but a motivator of people too. What really kept you motivated during your college years?
Well, it was a lot of work, but one of the things that really kept me motivated was the end goal, what I was looking forward to, after all the work was finished, graduation, and where I would be able to move from college now and then. And so it was challenging. There was a lot going on. It was a lot of work, a lot of reading, writing. And so I'm really just thankful for, the opportunity that I had to even attend college and for everything that I learned there.
Yeah. Were you very active in the student body life at university?
Not very active. I tended to focus more on the academic side of things and not so much the social side of things. I kind of wish that I did focus or have a bit more of the social experience on campus, but I was involved with the student advisory board for the School of Business.
Right.
And so that was a way that we were able to share students' concerns with the faculty there, and that was a great experience.
Well, you evidently, as an intern, must have done a great job for Will Williams and Fred Hume and all the other staff at Economic Development Partners. You've been there now since your internship. There was never a separation.
Right.
It was always just a continuation, wasn't it?
Yeah, I started there in I think January 2011, and I was a freshman at USC Aiken still, and I've been there since. And after graduating in 2014, they brought me on full time, and I'm just thankful for the experience that I had there because I've learned so much, and I've been able to make so many connections in the community. So it's been an overall great experience for me, and just that having that internship there, it assisted me in school as well because I learned time management, organization, and so having all of those skills that are interchangeable from work to classes is a good thing to have.
Right. There are so many projects that that y'all are involved with out there. Will's travels the world, literally,
Right.
Doing the things that he does to promote this area. And Fred Hume has his own. Tell us a little bit about what Fred does, the technology that he's involved with.
Right. So Fred, he's out at the Applied Research Center, and they have a lot of projects happening out over there. One of them is with something called hollow glass microspheres, and I can't get into the details of it because it is some complicated stuff, but it's also interesting. And the applications that it can have on people and the real world is amazing.
And even in medicine.
Exactly, yeah.
And I know that they, last year, or earlier this year maybe, it was last year that they put in a electron microscope out
Right.
there too. One of the fanciest things I've ever seen.
It is, yeah.
I mean, it is very, very expensive, but very, very beneficial. And they are also tied in with the National Lab and with the Savannah River site and many of the contractors out there.
Right.
So you get to experience up close and personal the technology trends that are happening in industry and in the world today.
Yeah, and it's been quite interesting to see because the Applied Research Center, they have done work with hydrogen and more, as we said earlier, with the hollow glass microspheres. And so having all of this, seeing all of this take place, it's just been an amazing opportunity for me.
Yeah, and I know Fred was very instrumental in all the hydrogen research center that's developed out there, the hydrogen bus that you folks spearheaded, and that's just a very cutting edge thing that you're associated with. I think one thing I wanted people to realize is that we live in Aiken, South Carolina, population 32,000 roughly, give or take, and there are so many things that are happening around here technologically.
Right.
And so many industries that are looking at this area. We look at the Savannah River site, all that they're doing with nuclear energy out there, plus all the other things that the National Lab there is associated with. And y'all were very instrumental in working towards getting a new facility on the University of South Carolina Aiken campus. And what's that called?
That is the Advanced Manufacturing Partnership, or AMP. And that's really going to be a state-of-the-art facility that we're excited to continue working on. And we think it'll be a great asset to the community. And so we're really looking forward to getting that off the ground.
And you've been very much involved with that through the whole process, haven't you?
It's been quite the process. And Will Williams, the president and CEO for Economic Development, he has been just hands-on with that project and trying to get everything going and making sure it stays on track.
Right. So technology is something that, you know, when I asked you a question about technology, you start smiling and you light up. And I know that that's really near and dear to your heart. You've always had a passion for the newest and most innovative things that are going on. You have created a new company, and I think you launched it in late August. Is that correct?
Yes, that's right.
Tell us a little bit about it, and what do you call it?
Yeah, so the company is called Upliff, Upliff, And basically, it's a platform for sharing only positive content. And the company's mission is to cause change in the world by helping people to see the positive things in life. We want to share just the good things and sort of turn away attention from the negativity that goes on around us so much. And so with the name Upliff, it comes from the word uplift. And we want to, morally and spiritually elevate people and inspire happiness and hope. And so right now it's done through a website at uplift.com, and people can go there and see all the positive stories we have.
How about that? You constantly hear people say when they pick up a newspaper and all they see are dramatically bad headlines, newspapers are just reporting the facts. But how many times do you hear people say, I wish they would just print some positive news? So you've kind of circled the wagons, and you've got a platform for doing that.
Exactly. And it was one of the things that was really bothering me throughout this whole process, because I read and watch a lot of the news, and I noticed that there are so many negative stories out there, but the positive stories, they're just as many or more. And they're really not getting the attention that I would like to see them get. And so I just wanted to create this place where people could go to read and share just the positive stories. Our company slogan is share something good. And with Uplift, that's really what we want people to do.
How has it been received so far?
The reception has really just been amazing. It's everywhere I go and share Uplift with people, they're like, we really need something like this. And so there's an appetite for positive news and just positive content in general. And I have to give special thanks to my church family, New Life Worship Center, because I shared the idea with them back in January, and they just loved it. They were really supportive of it, and throughout this whole process from then up until launching in late August, they were really supportive, just encouraging me to continue to go ahead and get this thing up and running. And the support from the Aiken community and over in Augusta, and as far as Columbia, has just been really, really great, and I'm thankful for that.
Well, I think it's your enthusiasm and your drive that does that. I was sharing with you earlier that when you told me about this as you were developing it, it's been some time ago, that I thought to myself after we'd had our conversation that, well, I'm really not surprised, because thinking back about, we always form opinions of people when we meet them, but when I think about you, I always think you're always smiling, you're always in a positive mood. So this is just a reflection of the inner Jonathan Larry.
Exactly.
So this is not only just a platform, it is really part of you.
It is. And looking at the positive things in life is something that I always try to do. So often we're faced with situations, and they're not always the best situations, but we look at it and we make the best out of it. And often those situations lead to some great outcomes. And I really enjoy the challenge and everything. So I try to always look at the positive things in life.
Has that done well for you over the years?
It has, because when you look at what's positive, you're not going to be depressed. You're not going to be sad all the time or mad, but you can sort of have a joy within you, and you have a happiness about you. And when you have that joy and that happiness, you can go about life doing what you know is right to do. You can do it and enjoy it. And so that's really what I try to do.
I had a mentor when I was about your age, and he told me one time, he said, John, he said, people are drawn to people that are happy. People don't like to be around or associate with people that are gloom and doom. And I've always remembered that, and I've tried to do that in my own life. And it was something that, like I said earlier, that I noticed in you. And I think that people are drawn just like to a moth to a light. And really, that is a light in this world. There's so much darkness and gloom. And when you see a bright light, people are drawn to it, and they want to do business with it. So it not only helps you personally, spiritually, as you said, but also in your business world too.
Right.
Because when you're sitting down to create something, it's much easier to create when you're in a good mood than it is when you're in a bad mood, isn't it?
Yeah.
Tell us about the creative part of what you did.
Yeah, so over the past few years, and I started working on this back when I was a senior at USC Aiken, and really hit the ground running when I graduated. And so throughout this whole process, it went through several creative changes, such as the company name. It also went through some strategic changes that all turned out for the better, and I'm really happy with the way things turned out. But things really started to take off when I went to an event in Columbia called Startup Weekend. And that's where you have a bunch of creative people basically gathered together to work on an idea. And so I pitched this idea last November to the crowd that was there. There were developers, graphic designers, business professionals, and coaches who help aspiring entrepreneurs. And so I pitched the idea, and thankfully it was chosen to be worked on, and a team formed around it. And through that weekend, we sort of built a minimum viable product, basically. It's not what you see today for Upliff, but what we have now is much more. But throughout that weekend, we were able to sit down, come up with a strategy, talk about what we wanted to do with Upliff and where we wanted to take it. So it all turned out great. And I was really working with some really creative people, and they really helped, sort of set the direction for Upliff.
How did you, think back to the very first time that you came up with the idea, tell us what that was like to really get it off the ground.
Going back and just reflecting on things, I see that I remember I was at work and I was doing my daily routine, which is reading news articles and everything, stay updated on the current events happening around the world. And it just hit me at that point that, I've been doing this for so long, basically, reading the news. Why aren't there more positive stories out there? And so when I got that idea, I stuck with it, and then I ran with it. I put action to it, and really just getting it off the ground from that point to where it is now. It's been a long process, a challenging process, but I've learned so much throughout the process. And there are so many new people that I've met and new opportunities that have come up, and I'm truly thankful for for where it is now, because it has not been easy, but me, I like to look at the positive things in life. And so I took the challenge, and it's just been a great learning experience, really.
So many times people start to do things and they're afraid of failure. Were you ever afraid of failure?
I was not afraid of failure. I just was afraid of, we're really not afraid either. I just didn't want to be a disappointment, not only to myself, but to other people as well. And I knew I wouldn't be, because this is something, I'm someone who's very driven, motivated. So when I get something, I work on it until I'm satisfied with the end result. And so, failure is something that I would not have accepted because it's just not who I am. I'm just driven to make sure that what I'm working on has the outcome that I want it to have. And so thankfully, everything has worked out with Upliff, and I'm really happy about that.
How many times did you have to start over?
I started over probably, 4 or 5 times.
Okay.
And that was over about 2 years. And so that summer after graduating, I made up a business plan and everything and had the name chosen. And over time, as I talked to more people about what I was trying to accomplish, they would give me sort of like advice and mentoring. And I really took that advice to heart and constructive criticisms and really adjusted the way that I originally thought Upliff would be. And so I took all of that into account, and that really allowed me to start over. I had my foundation still. It was always the same principle. But I was really to take the advice of people that I talked to who had experience in the industry and incorporate that into Upliff, and it really helped turn it into what it is today. Because if I had launched this, say, maybe a year and a half ago, it would not be what it is today, basically. I still would have worked on it, but it wouldn't be at the level that I would have liked it to be, which is the level that it's at today.
What you just described is the fact that it's a growing process.
Right.
And just like watching a toddler, I guess you could look at it like a human growth, that you start off, you birth the idea, and then as you grow, you change. You physically changed, and emotionally and mentally, everything else, you keep changing. So your product, your end product is quite a bit different, I guess, than what you first envisioned it when you sat down and came up, when you first laid it out on the drawing board, so to speak.
Right. And all of that is thankfully, I was able to meet a lot of designers and people who had experience in that, and UX, UI designers, those are user experience and user interface people. And their input really helped to sort of make the website what it is today, with having it easy to navigate, people being able to go there and find stuff very easily. And on a deeper level, all of the advice that I received, I was really able to just add that to the business plan, make the changes that I needed to. And like I said earlier, the foundation stayed the same, but there were certain areas that I could have improved upon. And over the past 2 years or so, throughout this growing process, I was really able to help improve upon the original plan of things, which I think was a big help.
Anytime you launch a software or any kind of thing like this, you always, every time we turn around, Microsoft is sending out an update or sending out a new revision. Do you have to do that?
I will have to do that eventually in the future. And one of the things that I don't want to do, and this is what Microsoft does, and it sort of bothers me, they have updates constantly.
Every other day.
And when you're in the middle of work and you got to restart your computer or something, and so I don't want to do that definitely. But right now, I would call what you see on the website just phase one.
Okay.
And eventually, I see us getting into a mobile app, as well as creating a more social experience, which is really where I want to take Upliff, because when you have that social experience, when you have people sharing their own stories, sort of like what you do on Facebook now with people posting and on Twitter and everything. But when you get that social experience, that's really where you can get a good stage of growth, because you have people joining, talking about the good that's happening in their own life. And with Upliff, we really want to change a mindset, because when you change your mind, you can change your life. And so with people sharing the good in their own life, it'll cause them to focus more on the good in their own life, instead of focusing on so much of the negative things that may happen around, whether it's at job, on their job, or in school, for example.
Do you monitor the site every day yourself?
Yes. Yeah, it's quite the process to monitor, but we're at a stage now where I'm able to keep control of everything and the comments on there. But as Upliff grows, eventually that'll have to be staffed and everything, and so I'm looking forward to that day as well.
Let me ask you this: how do you control the content on there?
Right now, we have basically 3 types of content on there, and it's all, of course, like I said earlier, positive content. So we have stories from the news, searching the web, just finding positive stories. And they're not always easy to find, because news doesn't cover too much of it, but when we find them, we share them on the site. And then we also have motivational content, which is content that people write, and it's uplifting content that would inspire people to reach their dreams or go for those goals. And we also have content that I seek out, basically, in the community. So we highlight people and organizations that are making a positive difference, because I really like to share the stories of these organizations or people who have chosen to serve others and contribute to the community in a positive way. And oftentimes, with the way the current media landscape is, those organizations don't get too many opportunities to share their story and share why they're there and what they do. So with Upliff, it's a great opportunity for organizations to do that.
If I want to experience Upliff, tell me how I would do that.
Yeah, you can go to upliff.com, and it'll take you to the homepage, and you'll see a lot of stories there of people, organizations, as well as stories from the news that all have a positive feel to them. And so people have really just enjoyed reading the site and all the information on there. And we share it on Facebook, we share it on Twitter, where people can connect with us there as well.
Would you consider it a web page environment?
Yes.
Totally?
Yes.
Okay.
It is that for now. Eventually we plan on turning it into a mobile app as well, but for now it's just a website that people can go on. They can share the stories that are on the site to their social media accounts, whether it's Facebook or Twitter or Pinterest. And that's really one of the things that I wanted to have on the site, the ability to have that social connection built in so that people could share it with other people. And then when you share one thing, someone else may share it, and then it sort of is like a domino effect where you started here and now it's, it's down the road, and so many other people have been able to experience the content now that's on Upliff.
What's the most unusual comment that you've seen on there?
Oh, let's see here.
That's an unfair question, but I thought it would be a good one. So,
the most unusual comment. Really, there hasn't been one yet.
okay.
All the comments have thankfully been geared towards the content on the site, and they've all been positive comments. People are excited about the future for Upliff and excited about what we're doing, as well as comments about just the stories that we featured. One of the stories was on the Megiddo Dream Station,
Yes.
which is here in Aiken, and they do an awesome work with their job training program. And people are learning about that now, and so it's been shared so many times on Facebook and on Twitter. And so just having people to positively comment on that organization through Upliff is something that I really enjoyed seeing.
Well, you're talking about another very positive organization, because
Right.
Kay Benitez is just a fantastic lady, and boy, you talk about somebody that could match you smile for smile. She can do it, can't she?
She definitely can, yeah.
She is a wonderful person and has done such a tremendous job. And if I'm not mistaken, I think they have now opened their second location, have they not?
I believe so, yeah. And it's amazing because their plan was just in the beginning to be in Graniteville, and
Right.
now that there are so many plans to expand in the future as well. So it's been a great journey for them.
Well, it's been a very positive thing for the communities that they're involved with, and like you, their goal is to spread the positive things that are around us, and theirs, of course, is trying to help people through education, job placement, and training, and social skills, things like that. So that's wonderful.
Right.
You mentioned all there that you had certain people that wrote different positive articles that put on there. What kind of articles do they write about?
Yeah, so there are a couple of people that we have writing for the site, and we call them Upliffers.
Okay.
And so they range from life coaches to pastors and ministers,
Okay.
and other entrepreneurs as well. And so they write content that is that's motivational, inspirational, something that would ignite a fire on the inside of people, really, to go out and reach their dreams. One of the pieces that we had featured on there was by Stacey Roberts. She's an author, a children's book author, as well as a coach. And she shared this story, this piece called Yes You Can. And it really was a great piece. A lot of people shared it on social media because it basically was saying, yes, you can reach whatever you want to do in life. Yes, you can accomplish those goals and turn that dream into a reality. And so having that sort of encouragement on the site, that inspiration, is something that I really want to continue doing with Uplift, because it's something that's so needed in today's world, where people are constantly faced with so many trials in life and obstacles that may come up. They need to realize that on the inside of them, yes, they can. Yes, they can do this. And so through Uplift, I hope people, they get uplifted with all the content that we have on there.
Well, I know that you not only work very hard in your position, you work very hard doing this, but that you still have time to give back to the community. I know you're involved with Aiken Young Professionals, which is a very up-and-coming group that's really grown over the last few years to several hundred rather than just a handful that when they first started, and you've been instrumental involved with that. You also serve with Aiken Downtown Development Association too on their board, and that's a very key part of Aiken, as we know, to keep the vitality of the business community up there and going. And your main job right now, the one that pays the bills, is certainly one that's a very exciting position for you, and the technology that you're associated with there, I'm sure, has really piqued your interest in going further and further and broader as you develop your program.
It has, yeah.
What would you say in these final moments to someone that's out there that has a dream, an idea, and they're a budding entrepreneur? give them a positive word to help them, encourage them to plant that first seed and start.
I would say, and I've learned so much throughout this process with starting up, I would say to them, give your dream room to breathe, because what's breathing is living, and what's living can thrive.
Wow.
And that just simply means don't be afraid to share your dream with the right people at the right place and at the right time, because they can really help, take your dream and turning it into a reality. And that's something that I learned personally. In the beginning of things, I was afraid to share my idea with other people because I thought they're going to steal it, they're going to take it. But that fearfulness, really, I was doing a disservice to myself and a disservice to the idea. Dreams, they're not meant to be closed up in a box, but they're meant to be shared with other people and with the right people, and shared so that you can get feedback on it, you can improve it, and once you do that, you'll meet so many people. You'll learn to network more, and the importance of a network is just vital to a new company.
Yep.
And so, being able to, giving your dream room to breathe, just simply means don't be afraid to share it with other people, just the right people. Give that dream the ability to grow, and you can really turn it into a reality.
Well, Jonathan, I thank you so much for sharing your day today with us, and you made a great point, and something that I want to leave with our viewers too, is that, and you said it very well, and I want to say it another way too. When you're networking, in an environment, the people that are involved in networking all have one goal, but I've always felt like that you meet two kinds of people when you're networking: people that you're supposed to help, and people that are supposed to help you.
Exactly.
So I guess that's kind of summarizing what you just said so very well. Jonathan, thank you for sharing your time with us today. I tell you what, it's a pleasure, and I hope that our audience out there takes away from it the positive spin that you have given us. And it's so refreshing to see a young business executive that has such a positive outlook on life, but wants to transcend the bad things that are out there with something very, very positive. Jonathan, thank you again for joining us, and thank you for joining us today on Aiken Business Matters.